जगदीश हरे जय केशवाधृता नरहरि रूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज भक्ति विघ्न विनाशक नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय।
तुलसी आरती।
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रियसी नमो नमः राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो यही अभिलाषी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रियसी नमो नमः जे तुम्हार शरण लय तार वांछा पुनः कृपा करे कर तारे वृंदावन राशि नमो नमः मोर यही अभिलाष विलास कुंजे दियो नयने हेरिबो सदा युगल रूप राशि तुलसी कृष्ण प्रियसी नमो नमः निवेदन धर सखीरनुगत कर सेवा अधिकार दिए करो निज दासी दीन कृष्ण दासे कहे मोर है श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेमे सदा भासी श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेमे सदा भासी तुलसी कृष्ण प्रियसी नमो नमः यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्म हत्याधिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणपदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्म हत्याधिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणपदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्म हत्याधिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणपदे पदे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम
हाँ ये बात है। नाम क्या आपका?
सुनीत।
सुनीत। You read English?
Yes.
First canto. टाइम सुबह टाइम सबका ऐसा रहता है। गला नहीं बेटा ठीक है। क्या करना मर्स? टीचिंग ऑफ कृष्ण देव। महाराज को दे दो बुक मार बताओ। मैं बता दे संस्कार नहीं एक जब मैं फर्स्ट चैप्टर इसका ट्रांसलेशन पर
Translation. Sutta Goswami said, being afraid for having killed so many subjects on the battlefield of
है स्नान तो कराइए।
Kurukshetra, Maharaja Yudhishthira went to the scene of massacre. There, Bhishma Deva was lying on a bed of arrows, but about to pass away. Purport. In this 9th chapter, as it is willed by Lord Shri Krishna, Bhishma Deva will impart instructions to King Yudhishthira on the subject of occupational duties. Bhishma Deva will also offer his last prayers to the Lord on the verge of passing away from this mortal world and thus become liberated from the bondage of further material engagements. Bhishma Deva was endowed with the power of leaving his material body at will, and his lying down on the bed of arrows was his own choice. This passing away of the great warrior attracted the attention of all contemporary lights, and all of them assembled there to show their feelings of love, respect, and affection for the great soul. Text 2 translation. At that time, all his brothers followed him on beautiful chariots drawn by first-class horses decorated with golden ornaments. With them were Vyasa and rishis like Dhaumya, the learned priest of the Pandavas and others. Text 3 translation. O sage among the Brahmanas, Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, also followed, seated on a chariot with Arjuna. Thus, King Yudhishthira appeared very aristocratic, like Kuvera, surrounded by his companions. Further, Lord Shri Krishna wanted the Pandavas to be present before Bhishma Dev in the most aristocratic order, so that he might be pleased to see them happy at the time of his death. Kuvera is the richest of all the demigods, and herein King Yudhishthira appeared like him, Kuvera. For the procession along with Shri Krishna was quite appropriate to the royalty of King Yudhishthira. Text 4 translation. Seeing him lying on the ground like a demigod fallen from the sky, the Pandava King Yudhishthira, along with his younger brothers and Lord Krishna, bowed down before him. Purport. Lord Krishna was also a younger cousin of Maharaja Yudhishthira, as well as the intimate friend of Arjuna. But all the family members of the Pandavas knew Lord Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. The Lord, although conscious of his supreme position, always behaved in humanly custom, and so he also bowed down before the dying Bhishma Dev, as he were one of the younger brothers of the King Yudhishthira. Text 5 translation. Just to see the chief of descendants of King Bharat, all the great souls in the universe, namely the rishis amongst the demigods, brahmanas and kings, all situated in the quality of goodness, were assembled there. Purport: the rishis are those who have attained perfection by spiritual achievements. Such spiritual achievements can be earned by all, whether one is a king or a mendicant. Bhishmadeva himself was also one of the Brahmarshis and the chief of descendants of King Bharat. All rishis are situated in the quality of goodness. All of them assembled there on hearing the news of the great warrior's impending death. Text 7 and 6 and 7 translation. All the sages like Parvat Muni, Narad, Saumya, Vyasa, the incarnation of God, Brudeshwara, Bharadwaj, and the Parshurama, and the disciples Vasishta, Indra Pramada, Trita, Drusamda, Asita, Kakshivan, Gautama, Atri, Kaushika, and Sudarshana were present. Purport: Parvat Muni is considered to be one of the oldest sages. He is almost always a constant companion of Narad Muni. They are also spacemen competent to travel in the air without the help of any material vehicle. Parvat Muni is also a Devarshi, or a great sage amongst the demigods, like Narada. He was present along with Narad at the sacrificial ceremony of Maharaja Janmejaya, son of Maharaj Parikshit. In this sacrifice, all the snakes of the world were to be killed. Parvat Muni and Narad Muni are called Gandharvas also, because they can travel in the air singing the glories of the Lord. Since they can travel in air, they observed Draupadi's Swayamvar ceremony, selecting of her own husband from the air. Like Narad Muni, Parvat Muni also used to visit the royal assembly in the heaven of Kṛṣṇa. As Gandharva, sometimes he visited the royal assembly of Kuvera, one of the important demigods. Both Narada and Parvata were once in trouble with the daughter of Maharaj Srinjaya. Maharaj Srinjaya got the benediction of a son by Parvat Muni. Narad Muni is inevitably associated with the narrations of the Puranas. He is described in the Bhagavatam. In his previous life, he was the son of a maid servant, but by good association with pure devotees, he became enlightened in devotional service. And in the next life, he became a perfect man, comparable with himself only. In the Mahabharata, his name is mentioned in many places. He is the principal Devarshi, or the chief sage among the demigods. He is the son and disciple of Brahmaji, and from him, the disciple succession in the line of Brahma has been spared. He initiated Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, and many devotees of the Lord. He initiated even Vyasadeva, the author of the Vedic literatures, and from Vyasadeva, Madhvacharya was initiated. And thus Madhva Sampradaya, in which the Gaudiya Sampradaya is also included, had spread all over the universe. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu belonged to this Madhva Sampradaya. Therefore, Brahmaji, Narad, Vyas, down to Madhva, Chaitanya, and the Goswamis all belong to the same line of disciple succession. Naradji had instructed many kings from time immemorial. In the Bhagavatam, we can see that he instructed Prahlad Maharaj while he was in the womb of his mother, and he instructed Vasudeva, father of Kṛṣṇa, as well as Maharaj Yudhishthira. Dhaumya, a great sage who practiced severe penances at 𝐾𝐲𝐞𝐞 and was appointed royal priest of the Pandava king. He acted as the priest in many religious functions of the Pandavas, and also each of the Pandavas was attended by him at the betrothal of Draupadi. He was present even during the exile of the Pandavas and used to advise them in circumstances when they were perplexed. He instructed them how to live incognito for 1 year, and his instructions were strictly followed by the Pandavas during that time. His name is mentioned also when the general funeral ceremony was performed after the battle of Kurukshetra. In the Anushasana Parva of Mahabharata 127.50 to 16, he gave very elaborate religious instructions to Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was actually the right type of priest of a householder, for he could guide the Pandavas on the right path of religion. A priest is meant for guiding the householder progressively in the right path of ashram dharma or the occupational duty of a particular caste. There is practically no difference between the family priest and the spiritual master. The sages, saints, and brahmanas were especially meant for such functions. Bhadraya, Vyasadeva. He is known as a Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Dvaipayana. Dvaipayana,
8:15.
Satyavati Sutta,
8:15.
Parasharatmaja,
हाँ काढ़ा तैयार
Bhadrayana, Vedavyasa, etc.
काढ़ा तैयार
He was the son of Maharaj.
हाँ हाँ yes yes
He was the son of Maharaj Parashara in the womb of Satyavati prior to her betrothal with Maharaj Shantanu, the father of the great Chandra, grandfather of Bhishmadeva. He is a powerful incarnation of Narayan and he broadcasts the Vedic wisdom to the world. As such, Vyasadeva is offered respects before one chants the Vedic literature, especially the Puranas. Shukdev Goswami was his son and rishis like Vaishampayana were his disciples from different branches of the Vedas. He is the author of the great epic Mahabharata and the great transcendental literature Srimad Bhagavatam. The Brahma Sutras, the Vedanta Sutras, or Bhadrayana Sutras were compiled by him. Amongst sages, he is the most respected author by dint of severe penances. When he wanted to record the great epic Mahabharata for the welfare of all people in the age of Kali, he was feeling the necessity of a powerful writer who could take up his dictation. By the order of Brahmaji, Shri Ganesh took up the charge of noting down the dictation on the condition that Vyasadeva would not stop dictation for a moment. The Mahabharata was thus compiled by the joint endeavor of Vyasa and Ganesha. By the order of his mother Satyavati, who was later married to Maharaj Shantanu, and by the request of Bhishmadeva, the eldest son of Maharaj Shantanu, by his first wife the Ganges, he begot three brilliant sons, whose names are Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidura. The Mahabharata was compiled by Vyasadeva after the battle of Kurukshetra and after the death of all the heroes of Mahabharata. It was first spoken in the royal assembly of Maharaj Janmejaya, the son of Maharaj Parikshit, Brudashva, an ancient sage who used to meet Maharaj Yudhishthir now and then. First of all, he met Maharaj Yudhishthir at Kamyavana. This sage narrated the history of Maharaj Nala. There is another Brudeshwara who is son of the Ikshvaku dynasty. Mahabharata, 1 Parvat, chapter 2.209, 4.5, 4 and 5. Bharadwaja. He is one of the 7 great rishis and was present at the time of the birth ceremony of Arjuna. The powerful rishi sometimes undertook severe penances on the shore of the Ganges, and his ashrama is still celebrated at the Prayagram. It is learned that this rishi, while taking bath in the Ganges, happened to meet Ghृताची, one of the beautiful society girls of heaven, and thus he discharged semen, which was kept and preserved in an earthen pot, and from which Drona was born. So Dronacharya is the son of Bharadwaj Muni. Others say that Bharadwaja, the father of Drona, is a different person from the Maharshi Bharadwaj. He was a great devotee of Brahma. Once he approached Dronacharya and requested him to stop the battle of Kurukshetra. Parshurama or Renuka Sutta. He is the son of Maharshi Jamadagni and Srimati Renuka. Thus, he is also known as Renuka Sutta. He is one of the powerful incarnations of God, and he killed the Kshatriya community as a whole 21 times. With the blood of the Kshatriyas, he cleansed the soul of his forefathers. Later on, he underwent severe penances at the Mahindra Parvat. After taking the whole earth from the Kshatriyas, he gave it in charity to Kashyapa Muni. Parshurama instructed the Dhanurveda, or the science of fighting, to Dronacharya because he happened to be a Brahmana. He was present during the coronation of Maharaja Yudhishthira and he celebrated the function along with the other great rishis. Parshurama is so old that he met both Rama and Krishna at different times. He fought with Rama, but he accepted Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. He also praised Arjuna when he saw him with Krishna. When Bhishma refused to marry Amba, who wanted him to become her husband, Amba met Parshuram, and by her request only, he asked Bhishma Deva to accept her as his wife. Bhishma refused to obey his order, although he was one of the spiritual masters of Bhishma Deva. Parshurama fought with Bhishma Deva when Bhishma neglected and gave him benediction of becoming the greatest fighter in the world. Vasishtha, the great celebrated sage among the Brahmanas, well known as Brahmarshi Vasishtha Deva. He is the prominent figure in both the Ramayana and Mahabharata periods. He celebrated the coronation ceremony of the personality of Godhead Shri Ram. He was present also on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He could approach all the higher and lower planets, and his name is also connected with the history of Hiranyakashipu. There was a great tension between him and Vishwamitra, who wanted his Kamdhenu, wish-fulfilling cow. Vasishtha Muni refused to spare his Kamdhenu, and for this Vishwamitra killed his 100 sons. As a perfect Brahmana, he tolerated all the taunts of Vishwamitra. Once he tried to commit suicide on account of Vishwamitra's torture, but all his attempts were unsuccessful. He jumped from a hill, but the stones on which he fell became a stack of cotton, and thus he was saved. He jumped into the ocean, but the waves washed him ashore. He jumped into the river, but the river also washed him ashore. Thus, all his suicide attempts were unsuccessful. He is also one of the 7 rishis and hundreds of Arundhati, husband of Arundhati, the famous star. Indra Pramada, another celebrated rishi. Trita, one of the 3 sons of Prajapati Gautama. He was the 3rd son, and his other 2 brothers were known as Ekat and Dvita. All the brothers were great sages and strict followers of the principles of religion. By dint of several penances, they were promoted to Brahmaloka, the planet where Brahmaji lives. Once, Trita Muni fell into a well. He was an organizing worker of many sacrifices, and as one of the great sages, he also came to show respect to Bhishmaji at his deathbed. He was one of the 7 sages in the Varun Loka. He hailed from the western countries of the world. As such, most probably he belonged to the European countries. At that time, the whole world was under one Vedic culture. Gritasmada, one of the sages of the heavenly kingdom. He was a close friend of Indra, the king of heaven, and was as great as Brihaspati. He used to visit the royal assembly of Maharaja Yudhishthira, and he also visited the place where Bhishma Deva breathed his last. Sometimes he explained the glories of Lord Shiva before Maharaja Yudhishthira. He was the son of Vitahavya, and he resembled in feature the body of Indra. Sometimes the enemies of Indra mistook him to be Indra and arrested him. He was a great scholar of Rigveda, and thus he was highly respected by the Brahman community. He lived a life of celibacy and was powerful in every respect. Asita. There was a king of the same name, but herein the Asita mentioned is the Asita Devala Rishi, a great powerful sage of the time. He explained to his father 15 lakh verses from the Mahabharata. He was one of the members in the snake sacrifice of Maharaj Janamejaya. He was also present during the coronation ceremony of Maharaj Yudhishthira along with great. He also gave Maharaj Yudhishthira instructions while he was on the Anjana hill. He was also one of the devotees of the Lord Shiva. 𝐃𝐤𝐬𝐭𝐫𝐚𝐜𝐿, one of the sons of Gautam Muni and the father of the great sage 𝐶𝐗𝐼𝐬𝐿. He was one of the members of parliament of Maharaj Yudhishthira. Atri. Atri Muni was a great Brahman sage and was one of the mental sons of Brahmaji. Brahmaji is so powerful that simply by thinking of a son, he can have it. The sons are known as the Manasputras. Out of the 7 Manasputras of Brahmaji and out of the 7 great Brahmana sages, in his family, the great Prachetats were also born. Atri Muni had 2 Kshatriya sons who became kings, and King Arthama is one of them. He is founded as one of the 21 Prajapatis. His wife's name was Anusuya, and he helped Maharaj Parikshit in his great sacrifices. Kaushika, one of the permanent Rishi members in the royal assembly of Maharaj Yudhishthira. He sometimes met Lord Krishna. There are several other sages of the same name. Sudarshana. This will, it is accepted by personality of Godhead, Vishnu or Krishna, as his personal weapon is the most powerful weapon, greater than the Brahmastras or similar other disastrous weapons. In some of the Vedic literatures, it is said that Agni Dev, the fire god, presented this weapon to Lord Shri Krishna, but factually, this weapon is eternally carried by the Lord. Agni Deva presented this weapon to Krishna in the same way that Rukmini was given by Maharaj Rukma to the Lord. The Lord accepts such presentations from his devotee, even though such presentations are eternally his property. This is an elaborate description of this weapon in the Adi Parva of Mahabharata. Lord Sri Krishna used this weapon to kill Shishupal, a rival of the Lord. He also killed Shalva by this weapon, and sometimes he wanted his friend Arjuna to use it to kill his enemies. Text 8 translation. And many others like Shukdev Goswami and other purified souls, Kashyapa and Angirasa and others, all accompanied by their respective disciples, arrived there. Purport. Shukdev Goswami said, the famous son and disciple of Sri Vyasdev, who taught him first the Mahabharata and then Srimad Bhagavatam. Shukdev Goswami recited 14 lakh verses of Mahabharata in the councils of Gandharvas, Yakshas and Rakshasas, and he recited Srimad Bhagavatam for the first time in the presence of Maharaj Parikshit. He thoroughly studied all the Vedic literatures from his great father. Thus, he was a completely purified soul by dint of his extensive knowledge in the principles of religion. From Mahabharata, Sabha Parva 4.11, it is understood that he was also present in the royal assembly of Maharaj Yudhishthira and at the fasting of Maharaj Parikshita. As a bona fide disciple of Sri Vyasdev, he inquired from his father very extensively about religious principles and spiritual values. And his great father also satisfied him by teaching him the yoga system by which one can attain the spiritual kingdom, the difference between the fruitive work and empiric knowledge, and the ways and means of attaining spiritual realizations, the 4 ashramas, namely the student life, the householder's life, the retired life, and the renounced life, the sublime position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the process of seeing Him eye to eye, the bona fide candidate for receiving knowledge, the consideration of the 5 elements, the unique position of intelligence, the consciousness of the material nature and the living entity, the symptoms of the self-realized soul, the working principles of the material body, the symptoms of the influential modes of nature, the tree of perpetual desire, and the psychic activities. Sometimes he went to the sun planet with the permission of his father and Naradji. Descriptions of his travel in space are given in Shanti Parva of Mahabharata 332. At last, he attained the transcendental Riya. He is known by different names like Araneya, Arunishuta, Vayasaki, and Rasatmaja. Kashyapa, one of the Prajapatis, the son of Marichi, and one of the sons-in-law of Prajapati Daksha. He is the father of the gigantic bird Garuda, who was given elephants and tortoises as eatables. He married 13 daughters of Prajapati Daksha, and their names are Aditi, Diti, Danu, Kashta, Arishta, Surasa, Ila, Muni, Krodhavasha, Tamra, Surbhi, Sarama and Timi. He begot many children, both demigods and demons, by those wives. From his first wife Aditi, all the 12 Adityas were born. One of them is Vamana, the incarnation of Godhead. This great sage Kashyapa was also present at the time of Arjuna. He received a presentation of the whole world from the Parshuram, and later on he asked Parshuram to go out of the world. His other name is Arishtanemi. He lived on the northern side of the universe. Angirasa. He is the son of Maharaj Angira. He is also known as Brahaspati, the priest of the demigod. It is said that Dronacharya was his partial incarnation. Shukracharya was the spiritual master of the demons, and Brahaspati challenged him. His son is Kachan, and he delivered the fire weapon first to Bharadwaj Muni. He begot 6 sons, like the fire god, by his wife Chandramasi. One was reputed Saj. He could travel in space, and therefore he could present himself even in the planets of Brahmaloka and Indraloka. He advised the king of Indra about conquering the demons. Once he cursed Indra, who just had to become a hog on the earth and was unwilling to return to him. Such is the power of attraction of the illusory energy. Even a hog does not wish to part with its earthly possessions in exchange for heavenly kingdom. He was the religious preceptor of the natives of different planets. Text 9 translation. Bhishmadeva, who was the best among the 8 Vasus, received and welcomed all great and powerful rishis who were assembled there, for he knew perfectly all the religious principles according to time and place. Purport. Expert religionists know perfectly well how to adjust religious principles in terms of time and place. All the great acharyas or religious preachers or reformers of the world executed their mission by adjustment of religious principles in terms of time and place. There are different climates and situations in different parts of the world, and if one has to discharge his duties to preach the message of Lord, he must be expert in adjusting things in the terms of time and place. Bhishmadev was one of the 12 great authorities in preaching this cult of devotional service, and therefore he could receive and welcome all the powerful sages assembled there at his deathbed from all parts of the universe. He was certainly unable at that time to welcome and receive them physically, because he was neither at his home nor in normal healthy condition. But he was quite fit by the activities of his sound mind, and therefore he could utter sweet words with hearty expressions, and all of them were well received. One can perform one's duty by physical work, by mind, by word, and he knew well how to utilize them in the proper place, and therefore there was no difficulty for him to receive them, although physically unfit. Text 10 translation. Lord Sri Krishna, situated in everyone's heart, yet he manifests his transcendental form by his internal potency. This very Lord was sitting before Bhishmadeva, and since Bhishmadeva knew of his glories, he worshipped him daily. Purport. The Lord's omnipotency is displayed by his simultaneous presence in every place. He is present always in his eternal abode Golok, Vrindavan, and still he is present in everyone's heart and even within every invisible atom. When he manifests his eternal transcendental form in the material world, he does so by his internal potency. The external potency or the material energy has nothing to do with his eternal form. All these truths were known to Sri Bhishmadeva, who worshipped him accordingly. Text 11 translation. The son of Maharaj Pandu were sitting silently nearby, overtaken with affection for their dying grandfather. Seeing this, Bhishmadeva complimented them with feeling. There were tears of ecstasy in his eyes, for he was overwhelmed by love and affection. Purport. When Maharaj Pandu died, His sons were all small children, and naturally they were brought up under the affection of elderly members of the royal family, specifically by Bhishma Deva. Later on, when the Pandavas were grown up, they were cheated by cunning Duryodhan and the company. And Bhishma Deva, although he knew that Pandavas were innocent and were unnecessarily put into trouble, could not take the side of Pandavas for political reasons. At the last stage of his life, when Bhishma Deva saw his sons exalted, his most exalted grandsons, headed by Maharaja Yudhishthira, sitting very gently at his side, the great warrior grandfather could not check his love tears, which were automatically flowing from his eyes. He remembered the great tribulations suffered by his most fiery grandsons.